Yeah. So okay. So basically, with this trade today, I had traded it yesterday. Did hor. I well, before I even talk about yesterday, today I did a much better job. A much better job trading it today. Uh, Made a few mistakes that I could have done better at, but overall, man, I did a great job. Um, uh, I'll go into yesterday first, and then I'll go into today. But yesterday, compared to yesterday, I was short and short and short and got squeezed, then shorted and saw that I didn't cut my losses right here. Let me see if I can zoom in. And right here. So yeah, yesterday I didn't cut my losses here. Um, and then I sat, took a, and I was down 2 G's here, and I added. I didn't go full size, and I added here, still wasn't full size, and it came crashing down, and I covered here for about I think a $3,400 gain. But today my performance was much better. Yes, the dollar amount wasn't higher, but it doesn't matter. I mean, of course, I could have gotten a dollar amount higher, but um, that's where I made my mistakes. But as far as like performing and being disciplined, um, it was great. So, um, uh, how do I explain this? So pre-market after hours, it was just coming down substantially, and I was thinking, okay, first red day tomorrow. Um, uh, that's gonna be his first red day tomorrow. It's dropped so much that I don't think it's even gonna be worth shorting. But hey, luckily it pushed up and went on its second green day. And this is where I was really disciplined. I reminded myself that this is not a first red day. This is a second green day, and that I have to treat it like a green day or first green day, and not just short right out the gate, hoping that it's gonna crash or thinking it's gonna crash. Um, the volume, I didn't even look at the volume, but the volume wasn't much neither. But it still pushed up, and it was pushing up pre-market. Um, so market open. Um, Market open. It started pushing up. I shorted, and then you see this cover here. I did a fat finger mistake. I meant to add here, but I realized that I was out of my trade. I'm like, what the fuck, fat finger mistake. I meant to add more and add here. I ended up covering, so I got back in with a whole $1,000 share because I added five. I went in small with 500 shares. Then I was gonna add another 500, and then it pushed up some more, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna add another 500, but my risk is previous days high, um, which is right here at 545. That was my risk, um, and I was playing off of that risk. Is it the yearly high too? I wonder. No, it's not the yearly high, but it's the next highest point. So I was playing off of that, and I was adding, and I was trying to get to like 2,000 shares um, here, but because I made this fat finger mistake, I just put in that 1,000, and when I was trying to add again, I didn't want to add too low because my exit was 545, and I didn't want to add shares at five $5 5 cents or 5.15 or 5.20. I didn't want to add there because it's like that's 25 cents away from high a day. If I go in with 2,000 shares, I'm risking um, $500. I'm not trying to risk $500. I'm okay with risking 200. So um, I stayed in with my stuck to my $1,000, my 1,000 shares. I was risking $250 at that point. $250. So I was like, okay. I didn't like my entry, and I didn't like my risk, but um, just like I can see it's not pushing up any higher. So then it started panicking, and I didn't care too much for it. It wasn't much, and it wasn't what I was really looking for. And I was kind of upset because I'm like, I didn't get what I was looking for, and it was right in my hands. But I sat back and I just waited. I didn't allow the emotions to take over. I'm like, okay, there's still opportunity. I just got to play it smart. And if it goes down excuse me, if it goes down without me or without the size that I wanted, it's okay. Um, I can make $1,000 if it goes down a whole dollar, but I don't want to wait a whole dollar to make $1,000. That's such a large amount to only make so little, and for me to be saying $1,000 is so little sounds ridiculous, but honestly, that's what it was. I didn't want to be risking. Um, or I only had 7,500 shares or $7,500 when I added here, but I didn't want to wait a whole dollar to make $1,000. That although that sounds great, you know, um, the, the stock that I'm trading is so low in price. I don't know if it's gonna drop a whole dollar. I'm not accustomed to trading lower price stocks like this. I like trading higher price stocks. So I, it pulled back, bounced. I added here, and then um, uh, I got in with 1,500 shares ads. Like I think what was my average? I got in. I think it was like 520 or something like that. I don't know. It was something. Um, and then it just came tumbling down. And then I wanted to cover here, but from what I was seeing in the chart, it was telling me okay, it could go up, it can go down even more. So I didn't cover here. I was trying to add here, but I was in a point where I was uncomfortable. I wasn't sure, and it was like more of a 50-50 for me here. I couldn't decide. I couldn't tell whether it was going to continue to going down or go up because if you zoom out, it was kind of doing a triangle pattern, but more towards the downside. Um, More towards the downside. But I couldn't tell, and I really wanted to add here, but I had to ask myself, okay, I went from $700 gain or $800 gain right here, or something like that, to now less than a $300 gain right here, or something like that, or close to it. And I'm like, if I add here and it starts pushing up, I'm gonna go from a small gain to a small loss. And it's like there's no need to take a loss on this trade. I'm already up. I was up substantially, and now I'm up. I'm still up. If I add here, um, now I'm opening the door for risk. And I have reminded myself it's a second green day, but it's still green on a day. I can't trade it like a first red day. I can't trade it like it's just gonna come tumbling down. Um, uh, I'm not completely skillful yet at reading the SEC filings, so there's no guarantee. I have no guarantee that they're doing an offering. I just know they did one, or they're still doing one, or they've done, or they're done. I can't. There's no guarantee on that. All I know is they have history of doing offerings, and the chart's telling me that it's coming down. Plus, I didn't get the entries that I wanted, so why add here when I originally wanted to add here and here? So why add at this point right here and take such a big risk and lower my average and open myself up to substantial loss? If my average became 510. Now I'm risking 350 plus. Not even 350 plus. Um, I'll be risking two 2,000 shares times 35 cents. Because I was gonna add 500, another 500 to 1,000 shares. But let's say I added just the 500 shares, and it would have been 2,000 shares in total times. Let's say my average was three. Let's say my average was 310. 3 point. I mean, let's say my average was 510, and I was risking 0.35 cent. I'm risking $700 for a stupid trade like this when I'm already up. So it's like if it pushes up to the high day, I'm losing $700, but I could have just took the $300 gain. So I was like, it's not worth it to add it here. I would rather add near high day and then challenge it from there and see if it's just gonna crash and probably take gains, um, in this area uh, at 390 or 490 or $5 or like 575 if it can get to any of these points, because now I'll have 2,000 shares um, at a higher average and and with a lower risk, and then um, you know it drops 10 cents, I'm already up $200. If it drops down to $5, um, my average was 520. So if I got in around, I didn't want to add it here again. So if I got it around like the 30 or above 20, and it dropped 20 cents, I'm up already $400. And then, yeah, $400. And if it drops in the 490s, 480s, I'm up even double or more. So it's just like it just wasn't worth it for me to add here and take on so much risk. And I was just like, imagine if I was trading for real, how would I feel risking that much? It would make me really uncomfortable. And I was already uncomfortable risking what I was risking now. I'm in 1,500 shares. Um, at this point, I'm in with 1,500 shares times point. Well, I was risking 25 cents. So I was risking 375 at this point when I added. When I was here, I was risking like 250, and I'm risking 375, which is not what I wanted to risk. Um, so after this ad, I opened the doors I opened myself up to more risk, and I just waited. And as it fell, faded, it broke this level. My alert went off, um, and then it went down to. I remember this is all paper trading, but it went down to um, $4.47, and I got out. I think it went down even more. I'm not sure. Fuck this shit. I'm trying to figure out how to. So I ended up bouncing. So I got out perfectly. I went to 338, 37, and I got out at 447. So 10 cent away from the bottom. Um, I knew to get out because it had its first panic here, second panic here, bounced, then had another two panics. So I knew to get out. I had to get out. Couldn't wait for a third one. and now it's bouncing. Um, like I said before, I don't like sitting in these roller coaster trades where it drops and then I sit in a roller coaster. As I explained yesterday, it drops, then it goes bouncing, and it does this roller coaster thing, but it comes back down to that same point that it was before, and I could have got out way earlier. Um, and I did that yesterday. And here's another roller coaster here where it drops, bounces, and comes down. I mean, yeah, I could have added, which I did here, but could have added here and took a bigger game. But I don't like sitting these roller coaster trades at all. Not only that, 11 o'clock, 10:30 to 11 is coming close. Um, it's almost time for it to start bouncing, which it is bouncing now. We don't know how far this can bounce. Um, it can bounce back up to the top. It can bounce back up all the way to the top, or it can just bounce up a little bit and then fade the rest of the day. I don't know. And it can be influenced by day traders like me and you, long-term investors. Oh, I said me and you. It can be. I don't know if you're a long-term investor or a day trader, but it can be influenced by day traders. Although this is paper trading, it can be influenced by day traders. Um, Long-term investors can start getting in. Mutual funds can start getting in, which I doubt, but they could. Or market makers can be like, okay, let's run it back up all the way back um, up again because we just got this new offering or something, and they can run it back up. And I'm not gonna look at the news. I don't look at the news all the time. Anything they can push it up with anything and be like, okay, let's run it back up. We're gonna do another stock split like they did before here. They could have done. They could have been like, okay, let's do another stock split here and then run it back up to $20. You never know. So um, you want to take gains when it's time to take gains. But I'm learning when to. I'm learning more on when to. And one thing that's doing me pretty well is since I'm out trying to aim for well when it's a higher price stock, I'm aiming for 50 cents to a dollar, maybe $1.50, and then I get out, or follow what um, Bertani and he said when you see two panics, it panics one time, attempts to bounce, and panics again. That second one, you need to get out, and I've been practicing that. And today I performed pretty well with it, where I did it. So that's my only trade for today. There was no other stocks that I really saw that I was interested in. Too short, and I don't go long. I don't really know how to, but as I progress, I will start studying different strategies. But right now, I'm shorting um, parabolics and shorting first red days, first green days. That's my strategy. And over any overextension, overextension is what I'm looking for. That's one thing I learned from Huddy. Overextension is what I'm looking for. So any overextension that I can get um, is what I'm gonna go with. Um, and you just gotta know how to be able to identify overextension. So here, um, this is overextension within a few days. Um, I like it all in one day or 2 days the most. But if you, as you can see, overextension, it extended and it pulled back. That would have been a good short for the first green day. Let it extend and short the top and fade. Second day, you don't hold overnight. I don't hold overnight at all. Um, I did it one time, but I don't want to hold overnight. Um, but second day, it pushed up higher, but provided a first red day. Its first red day and came down all the way. So just look for an overextension, and that's what I got to remind myself because these videos are for me. But I gotta just look for overextension, and that's it. And resistance and the whole 9 yards, and that's how I get better. But that's it.